Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Although we are coming to you virtually, our program will proceed similarly to how we would if we were in person. We encourage you to participate today with virtual communications and cheers on social media using the hashtag #UWinnipeg2020grad and through the live chat function in Zoom. We will begin with the invocation led by the Reverend Tanis Kalisnik, Student Life Academic Advisor. Reverend Kalisnik will be followed by Indigenous Knowledge Keeper Allison Cox, who will provide a blessing upon this ceremony and upon the graduates.
Thank you for gathering with us on this day of celebration to honor the graduating class of 2020. These past months have made it very clear to me that education on our campus is not isolated from the broader context in which we are living, such as the struggle for racial justice and political discourse, not to mention the pandemic itself, and our need for research and scientific excellence. We are a community here at the University of Winnipeg who care for each other. We value diversity, and we seek out challenging new ways of being engaged in this complicated world. There is opportunity ahead, and that good work is happening in the world around you, and it's happening in the world within you. So embrace this next chapter with greater clarity, resourcefulness, and courage. Let us pray. Gracious and loving God, we come to this day of celebration with thanksgiving for the graduates here today, for their hard work and dedication, for their loved ones who have been with them on this journey, for their professors and all those who have helped them reach this goal. Help our graduates know they are resilient people, they are critical thinkers, they are the leaders of tomorrow. They are the ones called out into the world to be the change makers. Help them, God, to know and to use the education received here wisely. Open doors of opportunity and give each of the graduates the courage to take the next steps on their journey with confidence and hopefulness. Receive this collective prayer. Amen.
Bonjour, Anje Gwenea sen Disnikas, Makwado dem, Mikisudo dem, Sagamak unjidu. Miigwech Gitchimanitu, Miigwech Nakomas, Miigwech Mishomas, Shawe Manishnam, Minshum Minu Pematizoen, Gemanastuyan, Gaki Min Shayang. Thank you, Creator, grandfathers and grandmothers. Bless us, give us new life to have respect for what you have given us. We are your creations. Guide us, protect us, love us as we love. We look towards our children on this special day. We give thanks to them for their accomplishments. We thank them for their courage, their commitment, and their determination. We see their strengths and their challenges met with equal sacrifice. We ask that the Creator help bless them, give them new life, and protect them as they forge new paths and dreams for our future. We also acknowledge the parents that have been waiting for this day with their encouragement, patience, and love. We thank the educators for their work, their time spent with our children, and the care they have shown them. Creator, bless the youth so they will know respect for what has been given to them. Creator, bless the youth so they will know their responsibilities. Creator, Bless the youth so they will remember that love is the only way. Miigwech Pematisawin.
It is now my pleasure to introduce Honorable Ralph Eichler, Minister of Economic Development and Training, who will bring greetings on behalf of the province of Manitoba.
Good evening. On behalf of the province of Manitoba and my colleagues in the legislature, I'd like to extend congratulations to the University of Winnipeg class of 2020. I would also like to express my thanks to Dr. James Curry, Interim President and Vice Chancellor at the University of Winnipeg, and faculty for inviting me to take part in this special virtual event. The fall class of 2020, you have demonstrated dedication, strength, and have shown amazing adaptability in adjusting to learn in new ways during the COVID-19 pandemic. I would be remiss if I did not thank the faculty and the staff of the university who have also had to quickly pivot and adapt in order to guide you through this unprecedented time. The fact that we're here today celebrating the achievement of graduates in this time is a great example of a collective ability to persevere through this adversity. As you embark in the next chapter of your life, you know the workforce is a highly trained professionals who are an integral part of Manitoba's economic, social, cultural growth, and development. Now more than ever, we need to work together to support health and safety, as well as Manitoba's economic recovery. We will get through this together. The best is yet to come. Congratulations. I hope you take time to celebrate your hard-earned achievement with family, friends, and fellow graduates. You're the future of our province, a future that's full of possibilities. I wish you all the best and continued success. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister Eichler. It is now my pleasure to welcome to the podium Dr. James Curry, Interim President and Vice Chancellor of the University of Winnipeg.
Good morning and welcome to the University of Winnipeg's virtual convocation. We acknowledge that we are gathered on ancestral lands on Treaty 1 territory. These lands are the heartland of the Métis people. We acknowledge that our water is sourced from Shoal Lake 40 First Nation. I begin with this significant acknowledgement to recognize the influence the land we are located on, its history, its present, its peoples, and its relationships must have on everything we do. Madam Chancellor, distinguished guests, members of the graduating class, families of the graduates, colleagues, and friends of the University of Winnipeg, I have the honor to declare open this 117th Convocation of the University of Winnipeg for the conferring of degrees in education, kinesiology, physical and health education, marriage and family therapy. At this point in the program, I would usually have a very long list of people sitting on the platform to introduce to you. Today, we are live from Convocation Hall, and I am joined by our new Chancellor, Ms. Barb Gammy, and Registrar, Mr. Colin Russell, who will perform their usual roles throughout the ceremony. Our platform party typically hosts a number of university faculty, students, and staff who have made significant and worthy contributions to our institution. This is a time when we award honorary degrees to those who have demonstrated exceptional leadership and unparalleled excellence in their fields, helping to define and shape the principles and values that give meaning to our community. Today, we honor Dr. Allan Levine with an Honorary Doctor of Laws. An honorary degree is the highest honor the university can bestow on any individual. Those who receive an honorary degree demonstrate dedication and excellence in their field of work and have been nominated for consideration of this title. Our presentation will be slightly different today as Dr. Levine is not here in person. He will be introduced by Dr. Robert Young, Fellow of United College, and he will be conferred special honors by our esteemed Chancellor, Ms. Barb Gammy.
Madam Chancellor, I have the honor to present Dr. Allan Levine, who today will receive an Honorary Doctor of Laws from the University of Winnipeg. Allan Levine is a passionate, award-winning storyteller who has spent his entire career bringing history to life and commenting on current events. If you have ever picked up one of his books, you will likely know it is hard to put down. Well known for his work as an historian, as a writer, and public intellectual, Dr. Levine was also an educator for nearly 30 years. He taught history and world issues at St. John's Ravenscourt School from 1984 to 2012. And, in addition, was an instructor with the Asper Foundation, the Holocaust Education Program from 1999 to 2012. In 1987, he became a published author, releasing his first book, The Exchange, 100 Years of Trading Grain in Winnipeg. Since then, he has published more than a dozen books, both fiction and nonfiction, and has delved into the historical mystery genre. However, he's arguably best known for his work covering Jewish history in Canada. In particular, his 2009 book, Coming of Age, A History of Jewish People in Manitoba, has received numerous accolades, including the McNally Robinson Book of the Year Prize, the Best History Book Award at the 2010 Canadian Jewish Book Awards, and a co-share of the Canadian Jewish Studies Award provided by the J.I. Siegel Foundation. A comprehensive and accessible history of the Jewish experience in Manitoba, Coming of Age casts a careful eye on the 130-year history of Jews in Manitoba, from the earliest days of settlement in the 1880s to the present. Augmenting Dr. Levine's work as an author are more than 500 of his comment pieces and reviews, many of which have appeared in publications such as the Globe and Mail, Maclean's Magazine, and the National Post. He has been a columnist with the Winnipeg Free Press since 2010, and in that role, he lays out for its readers the history behind current events. Madam Chancellor, I respectfully request that you confer upon Dr. Allan Levine the degree of Honorary Doctor of Laws for bringing history to life and for sharing his scholarly knowledge with the general public through his prolific writing in national publications. Thank you.
By virtue of the authority vested in me as Chancellor of the University of Winnipeg, I admit you, Allan Levine, to the degree of Doctor of Laws, honoris causa, with all the rights and privileges thereto pertaining.
It is now my great pleasure to introduce Dr. Allan Levine to address our graduates.
Good morning, graduates, and to your family and friends. I really wanted to speak to you in person, of course, but such is the reality of life right now. Before I begin, let me express my gratitude to Dr. Annette Trimby, the past president and vice chancellor of the University of Winnipeg, Dr. James Curry, the interim president and vice chancellor, and everyone involved in this convocation for this tremendous honor today. I'd also like to acknowledge my sincere thanks to Professor Emeritus Robert Young of the U of W History Department for initiating the nomination process that truly caught me by surprise, and to the other 4 professors who kindly wrote supportive letters, Neil Bessner, Dan Stone, both from the University of Winnipeg, and Paul Thomas from the University of Manitoba. I'm also happy that members of my family, my wife Angie, our children, and 3 beautiful grandchildren can share this honor with me. Let me start by suggesting there are only 3 things in life you can truly count on: death, taxes, and stupidity. In the past few months, through the pandemic, we have seen courage, conviction, compassion, and oh, so much stupidity. Let's start with students on spring break, partying in Florida and Mexico beaches, oblivious to the warnings of the virus. 8 months later, this anything-goes behavior continues even in Winnipeg. What are the protesters in several U.S. states who fought to, quote, liberate themselves? Were they under enemy occupation from stay-at-home orders, protecting themselves from the coronavirus? Of course, what they were really doing was liberating themselves so that they could get sick. In February, when the full extent of the virus was not completely known, except by a few select leaders, people from Australia to Canada believed what they read online, that there was a connection between the virus and Corona beer. Would the following surprise you? Probably not. In mid-June, Nicholas Kristof, a columnist for the New York Times, compiled death rates from the coronavirus for 21 countries around the world, 13 led by men, 8 by women. The male-led countries suffered an average of 214 coronavirus-related deaths per million inhabitants. Those led by women lost only 1/5 as many, 36 per million. If the United States had the coronavirus death rate of the average female-led country as of June, 102,000 American lives would have been saved out of the 114,000 then lost. And even more so today. Telling, right? And of course, my favorite bit of logic from the current US president, quote, when you do testing for the virus to the extent you're going to find more people, you're going to find more cases. So the answer, he said, is to reduce the testing, then you won't have the cases. I'd call that the ostrich approach to life. I've tried this with a scale in my bathroom. Stop looking at the scale and you don't gain weight. Simple. Or as a New York Times columnist, and in response to this genius idea, said, yes, and by ending cancer screenings, we would reduce cancer rates. By locking hospital doors, we would reduce hospitalizations. And if we stopped issuing death certificates, Americans would achieve immortality. How do you explain such human behavior? Partly it is that people out there really are stupid. And no matter what you tell them, they think they know better. To quote the American entrepreneur Malcolm Forbes, the dumbest people I know are people who know it all. In other words, the stable geniuses of the world. These individuals are beyond my help or yours, but there's another path you can take and embrace, and that's really what I wanted to talk to you as you leave university or continue your studies. Become a critical thinker. Do not accept the absolute nonsense you read online or on television, but read, research, question, read some more, collect evidence, and reflect on it. Consider linkages. As the skills you keep learning website notes, determine the importance and relevance of arguments and ideas, recognize, build, and appraise arguments, identify inconsistencies and errors in reasoning, and then, and only then, arrive at conclusions that are based on sound critical thinking. I've spent much of the past 40 years studying the past and teaching its lessons. Over these years, I did instruct my students about facts and dates, and I wouldn't downplay the importance of understanding the chronology of world events that led to the First and Second World War, for example, or the American, French, and Russian revolutions. But that's only part of it. What I was trying to do, I always believed that the most significant tool I could give my students was how to think, to analyze, critique, synthesize, and evaluate evidence objectively before arriving at any of the conclusions. Thus, for example, it's not only important to know why the First World War broke out in 1914, but what were the economic, political, and social factors, short and long term, that led to this conflict and tragedy? What were the human motivations and failings? To critically think in this way may be the most useful skill you can acquire during high school and university years, preparing you to hopefully become thoughtful adults and discriminating citizens. Linda Elder, an educational psychologist and president of the Foundation for Critical Thinking based in Northern California near San Francisco, explains it like this, quote, critical thinking is self-guided, self-disciplined thinking which attempts to reason at the highest level of quality in fair-minded way. People who think critically consistently attempt to live rationally, reasonably, and emphatically. They work diligently to develop the intellectual virtues of intellectual integrity, intellectual humility, intellectual civility, intellectual empathy, intellectual sense of justice, and confidence in reason. Or put another way by J. Stephen Levine of Forbes magazine, to better understand the hallmark of a consummate critical thinker, think of the movie Star Wars and the Jedi characters within the plot. Much of their mysterious power is cloaked and shrouded from sight. How Jedi-like critical thinkers produce their results reflects their status of even-mindedness and thoughtful intentionality. Consider that critical thinkers are feared by authoritarian regimes because they threaten the dictatorships, all-encompassing message, whatever that may happen to be. It is not surprising that upon achieving power, dictatorships and authoritarian governments always try to control information through propaganda. It is in fact how the term fake news came to be. In her superb recently published book, News from Germany, Heidi Tworek, a professor of history at the University of British Columbia, examines how, starting in 1900 and into the Second World War, some Germans worked hard to control information and used the new wireless technology, telegrams, and wire service news stories to control how that information was used beyond Germany's borders and across the world. The lines between news and propaganda became blurry. By the time Hitler and the Nazis came to power in 1933, they were denouncing the Lügenpresse, the lying press, sort of like enemy of the people, for their liberal, another dirty word, policies. One of the first things the Nazis did in power was take complete control of the news agencies and rebranded it as, quote, German News Office. Along with the Federal Ministry for Public Enlightenment and Propaganda, which they also established, the flow of information was tightly managed. Today, all of us encounter an onslaught of complicated issues. They often appeal to our prejudices and biases, narrow ideas that we are often reinforced by our families, peers, social media, and a plethora of websites. Helen Lee Bewig, a writer for Harvard Business Review, has a few suggestions on how to counter this new reality and become a lifelong critical thinker. First, questions assumptions. When someone tells you the sky is blue, check it out for yourself. Second, reason through logic. When presented with an argument, ask yourself, is the argument supported at every point by evidence? Do all of the pieces of evidence build on each other to produce a sound conclusion? And finally, diversity thought. Speak with people who might not see the world as you do and really listen and consider what they have to say before you dismiss it. This is probably the toughest one to do, but force yourself to do it anyway. Also, one more I'd add, don't be afraid to admit you're wrong about something. Many politicians believe doing so is a sign of weakness, yet the opposite is true. And change your mind. The measures of intelligence is the ability to change, said Albert Einstein. Thinking critically requires a diligent effort, and it's tough to cut through the daily bombardment of fake news, manipulated Facebook videos, false tweets, and the constant lies of political leaders. Each minute of every day, someone is trying to influence you, to tell you how to think. Often it's easier merely to get along with the crowd and react. The bottom line, thinking critically is hard work, and far too many of us take the easy and lazy route. We just react. I urge you not to do that. Thank you again for this tremendous honor, and the very best of luck with your future endeavors.
Thank you, Dr. Levine, for sharing your insight and knowledge with our graduating class. There are several faculty and staff awards that we recognize during a typical convocation ceremony and celebrate at the convocation dinner. We will celebrate these accomplishments at a virtual event a little later next week, but I'd like to take this opportunity to acknowledge and congratulate some of the recipients. Dr. David Fitzpatrick, Fellowship in United College, for contributing greatly to a burgeoning era for the university's campus and its academics. Dr. Lloyd Cornelson, Clifford J. Robson Memorial Award for Teaching Excellence, for being a gifted university teacher and educational leader who works tirelessly to connect with and inspire others. Ms. Deb Bradley, Stars of Spence Street Prize, for her kindness, dedication, and generosity, always going above and beyond to help students and colleagues. Congratulations to all our award winners. We have now come to the part of the program that our graduates and all who have tuned in have been eagerly anticipating. The registrar, Mr. Colin Russell, will present the graduates, and our chancellor, Ms. Barb Gammy, will confer the degrees. Each graduate will then be introduced, and a personalized slide of each will be shown on your screen. This is a rite of passage, a joyful occasion for our graduates and for the friends and family who have helped them on their way. As you see your graduate on the screen, I encourage you to share congratulations in our virtual chat and on social media.
Madam Chancellor, on behalf of the Senate, I request you to confer upon these candidates receiving their degrees in absentia the degree for which they have qualified.
By virtue of the authority vested in me as Chancellor of the University of Winnipeg, I admit all those receiving degrees in absentia to the degree for which the prescribed studies have been completed with all the rights and privileges thereto pertaining.
Madam Chancellor, I now beg leave to present the graduates. The recipients of the Master of Marriage and Family Therapy degree: Tamnu Aimé, Hani Benay Atan Al-Ubidi, Caroline Beatty, Nancy Lynn Campbell, Sarah Dack, Elena Rochelle Hallows, Christine Hollowick Sparks, Lori Ann Irwin, Sydney Dallas Losciavo, Atta Musavi, Sandra Eva Novak, Judy Peters, Melissa Joy Piltz, Lisa Rawson. The recipients of the Post-Baccalaureate Diploma in Education: Carlomari Aguilar, Renuka Eri, Heather Therese Arnall, Alexandria Austin Anderson, Ramandeep Kaur Basi, Valerie Ann Beinert, Madison Lee Bell, Daniel William Cornelius Baggett Bennett, Navneet Kaur Bhatia, Chloe Elizabeth Bishop, Lauren Jennifer Bogan, Megan Kathleen Bonin, Zoe Christiana Britton, Vanessa Lynn Bruno, Maria Dolores P. Calotes, Daniel Timothy Campbell, Kim Tien Kao, Daniela Catanese, Dana Lynn Crawford, Danielle Chantal Deck, Jillian Blair Dempsey, Danielle Margaret Catherine Dueck, Shirley Ezo, Wesley Charles Eaton, Curtis Gordon Edginton, Barakat Ahmed El Ghul, Jenna Forsland, Kara Ann Frickland, Kelsey Aaron Fuller, Ethan Jared Gillingham, Garrett Edward Glenwright, Kevin Eric Groot, Vanessa Jeannie Harriet, Giuseppina Hartley, Jevian Ariana Taro Haywood, Kaylee Elizabeth Hodgson, Ronald Enriquez Iscala, Marlena Christina Werner Jaskowicz, Marlo Adrian Jeffrey, Amanda Grace Jonker, Kyle Peter Joranson, Erica Carol Kasdorf, Mandeep Kaur, Kirandeep Kaur, Laura Kilbray Dick, Leah Cohen, AJ Kumar Kundal, Magda Mila Kuber, Jana Dawn Larson,
Janine Lavallee, Nicole Lavallee, Jamie Lee Lavallee Schmidt, Chantal Anne Ladors, Corinne Michelle Lindley, Kelly Lynn Livingstone, Juanita Setlack McKenzie, Joshua Seth Cameron Malcolmson, Debbie Allen Manila, Krista Marsh Bruce, Caitlin Cora McDermott Coates, Carly Leanne McMaster, Shelby Aileen McNish, Taylor Kelsey Melnick, Alyssa Maisman, Jenna Lees Brett, Caitlin Alana Rosina Grace Monroe, Jana Lee Musica, Marilock Morales Navia, Caitlin Michelle Olenek, Miriam Mura Orloff, Jillian Charlene Perron, Pamela Diane Penner, Antonietta Peretta, Amy Lauren Petka, Chander Prabha, Janelle Alexandria Ptashnik, Manjinder Kaur Riyar, Amanda Brianne Roberts, Kelsey Ann Marie Romano, Ember Lee Ann Rost, Kelly Dale Ryan, Molly Susanna Schaefer, Karina Danielle Sham, Andrea Dawn Schutz, Samantha Brooke Schwakendiak, Kara Seidel, Pallavi Sharma, Neha Sharma, Savannah Julia Smolders, Patricia Maureen Solmonson, Crystal Violet Steen, Andrea Lisa Sward, Alexander Tahimik, Bryn Takuchi Monterosa, Alyssa Jean Talbot, Jamie Dwan Thiessen, John Frederick Thompson, Anna Trochanowski, Natalie Erin Tucker, Melissa Elizabeth Wakeling, Jennifer Rayanne Worley, Kylie Weeb Pantel, Mallory Dane Worsnop. Now the recipients of the Bachelor of Education degree: Mathieu Agoli Agbo, Krista Melanie Aitken, Olenbukola Oluwaseun Akinjo. Also receiving the Bachelor of Physical and Health Education, Christine Esteban Alberto, Caitlin Morgan Albo. Also receiving the Bachelor of Arts, Robert William Alcock. Also receiving the Bachelor of Arts, Emily Elizabeth Allen, Diana Lee Allen. Also receiving the Bachelor of Arts, Taylor Ann Mercedes Ambrose McDuffie. Also receiving the Bachelor of Arts, Stephanie Ann Anima, Mary Kate Arenas. Also receiving the Bachelor of Arts, Stephen Lloyd Axworthy, Sherwin Bakani, Victor Balagan. Also receiving the Bachelor of Arts, Priscilla Bargan. Also receiving the Bachelor of Arts, Vanessa Lynn Bartlett. Also receiving the Bachelor of Arts, Natasha Renee Bartram. Also receiving the Bachelor of Arts, Amy Nicole Barch. Also receiving the Bachelor of Arts, Cody Hugh Benson. Kayla Renee Berg. Also receiving the Bachelor of Arts, Maria Isabel Bernasconi. Also receiving the Bachelor of Arts, Alec Gordon Berriere. Katrina Besherat. Ruth Joshua Bazitny. Madison Maria Billick. Stacy Christine Boss. Braylyn Giselle Brandt. Also receiving the Bachelor of Arts, Casey I. Brown. Swade Ethan Malloy Brightnose. Genevieve Brown. Also receiving the Bachelor of Arts, Kaylee Dawn Brunette. Alex Claire Boulejda. Patricia May Boulos. Elizabeth Panting Byron. Angel Grace Pahela Cabading. Also receiving the Bachelor of Arts, Katrina Rose Kapuska. Colleen Chow. Kevin Chow. Also receiving the Bachelor of Arts, Michaela Ruth Chalk. Kimberly Ann Clato. Jarrett Patrick Cole. Also receiving the Bachelor of Science, Sabrina Ann Cornelis. Also receiving the Bachelor of Arts, Jessica Stephanie Koss. Ashley Crossland. Recipient of the University Silver Medal for the second highest standing in education, Brendan Addison Quick. Nadia Jasmine Dawoodi. Laura Ann Davey. James Alistair Davidson. Julia Hope de Groot. Jonathan Michael Diedrich de Groot. Also receiving the Bachelor of Arts, Ariana Lorraine Ong del Mundo. Katrina Bonetta Derbecker. Ian Spencer Demopoulos. Also receiving the Bachelor of Arts, Kelly Jo Lynn Dorval. Diana Maria Dottavio. Also receiving the Bachelor of Arts, Alin Brooke Drohomoriski. Rochelle Ann Grace Dunlop. Also receiving the Bachelor of Arts, William Andrew Dunlop. Also receiving the Bachelor of Arts, Matthew James Dunning. Also receiving the Bachelor of Arts, Sarah Cheyenne Dick. John Kyle Dick. Laura Elna Ebeling. Teresa Ann Eischen Chartrand. Also receiving the Bachelor of Arts, Destiny Mildred Elise Elcock. Also receiving the Bachelor of Science, Kim Louise Alana. Also receiving the Bachelor of Science, Brooke Ashley Enns. Also receiving the Bachelor of Science, Sean David Falconer. Danae Randy Fender. Also receiving the Bachelor of Arts, Emily Laurel Fletcher. Also receiving the Bachelor of Arts, Amy Christine Flynn. Vanessa Kimberly Foulis. Also receiving the Bachelor of Arts, Zoe Elaine Fraser. Also receiving the Bachelor of Arts, Daniel Keith Friesen. Ashley Dawn Friesen. Also receiving the Bachelor of Arts, Brenna Catherine Marie Fraze. Elena Lynn Fulton. Also receiving the Bachelor of Arts, Sylvia Gaglawa. Also receiving the Bachelor of Arts, Jessica Mary Helen Geller. Also receiving the Bachelor of Arts, Thomas Giesbrecht. Also receiving the Bachelor of Arts, Caitlin Marie Gilfillan. Angela Goslin. Caitlin Mary Shiban Graham. Also receiving the Bachelor of Science, Haley Elizabeth Olga Graham. Marlo Lynn Grant. Tanya Leanne Gray. Also receiving the Bachelor of Arts, Ashley Sarah Groff. Colton Reed Greba. Also receiving the Bachelor of Science, Shireen Marissa Hando. Carter Zane Happy. Also receiving the Bachelor of Arts and the Gold Medal for Achievement in 3-year Kinesiology, Catherine Reed Hastings Van. Also receiving the Bachelor of Physical and Health Education, McLean Hatherley. Kaylee Ann Louise Hay. Gabrielle Ann Hayes. Christina Louise Heather. David James Heinrichs. Brianna Katrin Heinrichs. Chance Charles Richard Henderson. Also receiving the Bachelor of Arts Honors, Madison Blair Herget Schmidt. Also receiving the Bachelor of Arts, Natasha Jessie Higham. Also receiving the Bachelor of Arts, Brian David Hildebrand. Holly Helen Hladoon. Also receiving the Bachelor of Science, Jennifer Lee Horrell. Also receiving the Bachelor of Arts, Lisa Ann Hunter. Shaylin Marie Johnson. Also receiving the Bachelor of Arts, Alicia Kagi. Colin James Cammerman. Rianne Maria Candia. Sarah Cataniaris. Also receiving the Bachelor of Arts, Siobhan Marie Clausen. Also receiving the Bachelor of Arts, Helen Marden Tweed Klepka. Also receiving the Bachelor of Arts, Matthew Sheldon Kobuka. Also receiving the Bachelor of Science, Krista Lee Evelyn Barkman Kubinek. Mark Reingold Kugel. Anna Christine Kulis. Also receiving the Bachelor of Physical and Health Education, Kayla Patricia Jean Kazina. Also receiving the Bachelor of Arts, David Law. Also receiving the Bachelor of Arts, Nicole Amanda Lafleur. Andrea Nancy May Leach. Carolee Nadine Levitt. Also receiving the Bachelor of Arts, Rebecca Phyllis Lerner. Also receiving the Bachelor of Arts, Candace Davina Liebrecht. Also receiving the Bachelor of Science, Caitlin Rena Link. Also receiving the Bachelor of Physical and Health Education, Joshua Lobo. Jared Brett Lubianski. Also receiving the Bachelor of Arts, Kayleen Joy Lundberg. Also receiving the Bachelor of Arts, Tomasz Maciejewski. Lucas Craig McIntosh. Taylor Madison McKenzie. Jasmine Lee Tillel Medill. Also receiving the Bachelor of Science and the Gold Medal in 3-year Physics, Jamie Lee Mays. April Joy Malapit. Also receiving the Bachelor of Science and the Gold Medal in 3-year Mathematics, Malene Bernadette Clarigo Malasso. Also receiving the Bachelor of Arts, Larissa Page Manusing. Also receiving the Bachelor of Physical and Health Education, Connor Peter Markiston. Also receiving the Bachelor of Arts, Colton James Martins. Also receiving the Bachelor of Arts, Taylor Jade Martin. Also receiving the Bachelor of Arts, Violetta Matia. Also receiving the Bachelor of Arts, Harpreet Singh Mavi. Also receiving the Bachelor of Arts, Serene Ray McConnell. Also receiving the Bachelor of Physical and Health Education, Matthew Day McCorkadale Bauer. Also receiving the Bachelor of Physical and Health Education, J.D. Lynn McDougall. Also receiving the Bachelor of Arts, Emily Brooke McNish. Shelley Lynn Medger. Baram Murzapur Gazvini. Also receiving the Bachelor of Arts, Leah Catherine Moorish. Also receiving the Bachelor of Arts, Jordan Courtney Grace Knoll. Also receiving the Bachelor of Arts, Pamela Navoa. Also receiving the Bachelor of Arts and the Gold Medal in 3-year French Studies, Leisha Erin Ney. Also receiving the Bachelor of Physical and Health Education, Alexander Evan Neufeld. Also receiving the Bachelor of Arts, Katarzyna Nichols. Also receiving the Bachelor of Arts, Alyssa Nicole Nixon. Also receiving the Bachelor of Arts, Melanie Joanne Noble. Also receiving the Bachelor of Science, May Anella Flores Nonato. Also receiving the Bachelor of Arts, Courtney Ann Lynn Norquay. Abigail Patricia Dawn Nyqvist. Hania Mera Olfman. Kiuna Myrna Oliver Hanna. Also receiving the Bachelor of Arts, Lisa Dana Oravec. Also receiving the Bachelor of Science, Belaine Osman. Talia Page. Also receiving the Bachelor of Science, Kimberly Panaligan. Also receiving the Bachelor of Arts, Julie Dawn Gillian Papineau. Also receiving the Bachelor of Arts, Nolan Parrington. Greg Patzer. Also receiving the Bachelor of Arts and the Gold Medal in 3-year History, Alvin Lee Paul. Also receiving the Bachelor of Arts, Brindle Pauls. Raquel Alexis Pazdor. Samantha Nadine Penner. Also receiving the Bachelor of Physical and Health Education, Shane Aaron Pfeiffer. Quinn Ariana T. Pham. Erin Jessica Plett. Ryan Mark Poirier. Also receiving the Bachelor of Arts, Taylor Gay Porth. Also receiving the Bachelor of Arts, Devon Pietro Posilippo. Also receiving the Bachelor of Arts, Jessica Lee Prefontaine. Also receiving the Bachelor of Arts, Melissa Quach. Also receiving the Bachelor of Science, Amelia Anastasia Radowetz. Also receiving the Bachelor of Arts, Jade Alin Rajat. Receiving the Chancellor's Gold Medal for the highest standing in education, Matthew James Ford Ramsey. Also receiving the Bachelor of Arts, Daniel Bennett Ranson. Joanne Lauren Raimundo. Michael Ray. Also receiving the Bachelor of Arts, Hannah Beulah Riskin. Brooklyn Cheryl Robertson. Elise Nicole Robson. Olivia Ann Louise Rock. Also receiving the Bachelor of Arts, Dominique Teresa Lucille Roche. Also receiving the Bachelor of Arts, Evan Drew Rogalski. Also receiving the Bachelor of Arts, Erin Julia Ross Moore. Also receiving the Bachelor of Arts, Robert Leo Rosier. Also receiving the Bachelor of Arts, Rebecca Dawn Ruda. Also receiving the Bachelor of Arts, Shaylin Nicole Say. Rena Danielle Sangalang. Olivia Sarmiento. Also receiving the Bachelor of Arts, Cameron Robert Sass. Sarah Marie Scott. Kajal Sushma Sekon. Kiran Sushma Sekon. Neil Shah. Also receiving the Bachelor of Physical and Health Education, David Harrison Shannon. Also receiving the Bachelor of Arts, Venus Sharma. Danielle Ann Seacott. Also receiving the Bachelor of Arts, Madonna Sidra Gurgis. Nev Dawn Skelton. Also receiving the Bachelor of Arts, Lane Page Slobodian. Nolan Jack Smith. Ashley Emmeline Smith. Also receiving the Bachelor of Science, Seth Nicholas Souza. Also receiving the Bachelor of Science, Maximilian Stanza. Megan Emily Steinke. Also receiving the Bachelor of Science, Seth Streifler. Also receiving the Bachelor of Arts, Jesse Ross Streifler. Tamara Alexandra Sukarina. Also receiving the Bachelor of Arts, Carlo Luis Ocampo Tale. Also receiving the Bachelor of Arts, Scott Robert Templeton. Also receiving the Bachelor of Physical and Health Education, Rebecca Ray Thomas. Also receiving the Bachelor of Arts, Rihanna Marie Tew. Also receiving the Bachelor of Arts, Jessica Elise DeFer Taves. Also receiving the Bachelor of Arts, Chelsea Irene Thomason. Also receiving the Bachelor of Physical and Health Education and the University's Silver Medal for the second highest standing in Kinesiology 3-year program, Samantha Ann Toolman. Also receiving the Bachelor of Arts, Alexa Ray Vilas. Julia Margaret Vincent. Jennifer Megan Waldner. Jacqueline Wasiliu. Also receiving the Bachelor of Arts, Dylan Patrick Waterman. Kathleen Rebecca Marguerite Westra. Also receiving the Bachelor of Arts, Hugh William James Wichenko. Also receiving the Bachelor of Physical and Health Education, Nicholas Paul Willems. Also receiving the Bachelor of Arts, Sean William Willems. Kate Lee Willoughby. Also receiving the Bachelor of Arts, Carly Brianne Wishnowski. Also receiving the Bachelor of Arts, Jewel Christine Waitwitz. Kina Wong. Hannah Grace Wood. Shelby Lee Yeskin. Also receiving the Bachelor of Physical and Health Education, Dylan Randall Quinn Zacharias. Dorian Zane Zaharia. Also receiving the Bachelor of Arts, Bradley Alexander Zosky. Sean William Morrison. Now the recipients of the Bachelor of Science in Kinesiology, Jan Michael Ballot. Jessica Lauren Braun. Amanda Nicole Cabral. Jacqueline Nicole Despin. Ian David Detcher Coma. Allison Teresa Donnelly. Nancy Elaine Iwachewski. Gurveer Kaur Gill. Cameron George Henderson. Samantha Illas. Bryce Taylor Kelly. Samantha Eva Naylor Cuffley. Connor Robert Malcolm Lawrence. Jaden Paul Leclerc. Hitoshi Maeda. Madison Alexa Marco. Alandra Lynn McKendry. Hannah Jane McLandris. Jessica Lynn Mendoza. Hemedale Miranda. Donald Nguyen. Jenny Nicholas. Nicholas Eric Noonan Robinson. Kira Marguerite Inisco. Olivia Alexandra Orman. Mia Paul Prenovo. Curtis Garrett Richards. Timothy Benjamin Ivan Romanek. Alyssa Kimberly Ross. Jennifer Johanna Rose Schreibmeyer, our valedictorian today. Kayla Wendy Jeanette Scrimshaw. Jean-Luc Georges Joseph Spellier. Xiao Ying Wang. And now the recipients of the Bachelor of Kinesiology. Olawase Timofe Abayomi. Rachel Kathleen Antimus. Austin Taylor Benavides. Onesha Madalena Brenya. Ashley Marie Croswell. Calvin William Diaz. Brooke Helen Marie Enns. Danielle Elizabeth Fewings. Elizabeth Page Hastings Van, Dana Ashley Ladd, Joshua Matthew McKay, Joseph Ponce Medrano, Rahel Muster, Jillian Dana Pierce, Nicole Lauren Redekop, Martin Enrique Skiarski, Ross Norman David Storm. And now the recipients of the Bachelor of Physical and Health Education degree. Janelle Ableo, Holly Brianne Allard, Monica Arnuco, Granielle Soms Ong Belong, Samantha Marty Emmeline Burgle, Chloe Marie Coates, Bryce David Edwards, Kiana Jane Fair, Jordan Ryan Johansson, Dylan James Kalinowski, Jordan Matthew Kreml, Sarah Emma Lazaruk, Caitlin Lennon, On Tai Win, Clarissa Catherine Pigrowski, Alec Joseph James Williams Rasmussen, Nicholas John Reguer, Celeste Erica Richaud, Donald Gary Swanson, Katrina May Velacaria, Rena Vij, Michelle Lee Walchuk, Delaney Yang.
From February, June, and October, the Education, Kinesiology, and Applied Health and Marriage and Family Therapy graduating class of 2020.
Thank you, Madam Chancellor and Mr. Russell. Graduates, as your images rolled across the screen, you crossed a virtual stage surrounded by cheering faculty, staff, family, and friends. We will be continuing to cheer for you as you go on to achieve great things and make an impact on the community in your own unique way. I now have the pleasure of introducing your deans, Dr. Lori-Ann Helston, Dean of Education, Dr. Doug Goltz, Acting Dean of Kinesiology, and Dr. Mavis Reimer, Dean of Graduate Studies, who will share congratulations on behalf of all faculty and staff.
Welcome to the 2020 Fall Convocation ceremonies. My name is Dr. Lori-Ann Helston, and I am the Dean of Education. It is my very great privilege to bring a congratulatory message to you on behalf of everyone in the Faculty of Education. To our education graduates, there are 355 of you this fall. 243 students are graduating with their Bachelor of Education degree, and an additional 112 students are graduating with their Post-Baccalaureate in Education. Congratulations on achieving the significant milestone in your own personal journey. Congratulations must also go to your parents, families, friends, and supporters who are celebrating with you today. We are all so very proud of you. Whoever expected when you began your journey at the University of Winnipeg that your convocation celebration would be so special and yet so different than what we have all become used to. Although we can't be together to see you walk across the stage to receive your parchment in person, there is no doubt that your remarkable academic achievements deserve to be recognized. Regardless of whether you are receiving your B.Ed or your post-bac, we have all become teachers because we want to make a difference in the world. We thrive on learning for ourselves and for the students we teach. As teachers, you are embarking on or continuing in one of the most rewarding and important careers in society. You will be or will continue to be challenged in ways that test your resolve and commitment, and you'll be pushed beyond what you know, what is familiar, and what is comfortable. But I know you will take these challenges in stride. How do I know? As a University of Winnipeg education student graduating in this 2020 Fall Convocation, you were unexpectedly challenged by the COVID-19 pandemic, and yet you persevered. You successfully completed your program during an unprecedented time when the world was not functioning normally. You shifted to online learning, virtual practica, and physical distancing from classmates during a time when anxiety and uncertainty threaten to overwhelm us all. The writer Andrew Solomon recently commented on the impact of the pandemic on graduates. He said, "Graduates, you have the gift of knowing the social order can be undermined by a sudden and unanticipated change, that people can radically transform their behavior when the severity of the threat is made evident to them, and that most of us can manage when our way of life is changed beyond recognition. Don't squander that gift." Your determination to complete your degree has demonstrated that you can adapt to what life may throw at you in the future and still be incredibly successful. Education graduates from the University of Winnipeg are change makers, influencers, advocates, mentors, and role models. Now more than ever before, I encourage you to embrace those characteristics and forge ahead with confidence. Use the skills and knowledge you obtained at the University of Winnipeg to empower others, stay resilient, build resilience in others, stay strong, share your strength with those you teach, pursue your dreams without reservations, inspire others, get involved, and embrace leadership opportunities. You are ready for what lies ahead. So to quote another author, the famous Dr. Seuss, "Congratulations, today is your day, you're off to great places, you're off and away. Congratulations on your convocation and best wishes for your next adventure, wherever your journey may lead you. I wish you all a safe, joyful, and prosperous future."
Hello, graduates. My name is Doug Goltz, and I'm the Dean of the Gupta Faculty of Kinesiology and Applied Health at the University of Winnipeg. Your hard work has finally paid off, and the successful completion of your degree requirements has now allowed you to graduate from the University of Winnipeg. As a professor and as a teacher, I've certainly enjoyed the opportunity to observe you and all of our students grow into the next generation of physical educators and athletic therapists. Convocation is an important milestone, and as the Dean, I feel very lucky to have the privilege of playing a part in this event. I'd like to extend my sincere congratulations to all the parents and families, and of course, our students who are participating in this year's fall convocation at the University of Winnipeg. Well done.
My name is Mavis Reimer. I'm the Dean of Graduate Studies at the University of Winnipeg. It's my very great pleasure to bring greetings to all of the graduates of our master's programs on behalf of the faculty and staff in Graduate Studies. We are proud of each and every one of you. You have completed advanced studies in a variety of programs and disciplines, in professional programs, such as marriage and family therapy, that have prepared you for entry into a specific occupation, in theoretical, historical, and sociological studies, such as Indigenous governance, that have given you the opportunity to think through particular aspects of our society deeply and carefully, and in experimental studies, such as bioscience, that have seen you researching questions about the natural world and testing possible answers. All of these studies share the qualities of having given you considerable command of the subjects you have taken up and considerable independence in charting your own course through those studies. Our hope is that you will use the mastery you have earned to make a difference in the various domains into which you are now moving. As a student in the Faculty of Graduate Studies at the University of Winnipeg, you have been part of a program that includes students from 13 countries in addition to Canada, and from 6 provinces of Canada. It's my hope that each of you has also found new places of belonging here during your time at the U of W. I'm conscious of the fact, however, that as I address you, we are not together in each other's presence, as we typically are on this occasion. Whether you are watching this service from a distant home or from a home in Winnipeg, I hope that you will carry the sense of belonging at the University of Winnipeg with you. Please keep in touch. Let us know how you are taking what you have learned and what you have created during your graduate studies to the next stage of your life. Congratulations.
On an occasion such as this, it is important to hear from the students. It is, after all, your day. And so I would like to introduce our valedictorian, Jennifer Schreibmeyer. It was her love of sports that, at least partially, helped Jen Schreibmeyer find her path in post-secondary learning. Schreibmeyer was passionate about competition and athletics while in high school at Mennonite Brethren Collegiate Institute. Self-described as accident-prone, she suffered some injuries along the way that convinced her she could have a purpose in helping others. The fields of health and medicine and the healthcare field in general were always very interesting to me. My past history of growing up playing sports and having injuries myself led me to want to help other people who were in the same position and want to get back to their daily activities, Schreibmeyer said. She spent 2 seasons as an athletic therapist with the Westman women's volleyball program and grew through that experience. Having been on the same team for multiple reasons helped me understand working with the sports team specifically, she said. Working with them the first year, I was nervous and didn't know exactly what I was doing, but then I grew with them and grew my own skills and relationships with them, and that helped me branch out. I came to realize how important a role athletic therapy plays with sports teams. Graduating with a 4-year Bachelor of Science athletic therapy degree, Schreibmeyer moves on to the University of Manitoba, where she's been accepted into the Masters of Physical Therapy program. Graduates, your valedictorian, Jennifer Schreibmeyer.
Good morning, Chancellor, President, Deans, faculty, family, friends, and fellow graduates. My name is Jennifer Schreibmeyer, and I am honored to give this speech on behalf of the graduating students. Although we cannot be together, we can still celebrate the success of all individuals being recognized today. I'd like to personally extend my congratulations to each of you on your accomplishments. On behalf of my fellow students, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the university faculty and staff. From professors and lab assistants to administrative and custodial staff, your contributions to the University of Winnipeg have positively impacted our time here. Thank you especially to faculty members who went beyond teaching our classes and provided mentorship and coaching. Your guidance has inspired us to give our best as we pursue careers and continue our education. Thank you. I would also like to thank everyone who has supported us during our years of study. Near or far, your encouragement, patience, and sacrifices have made today possible. Thank you. And now, my fellow graduates, we did it. When I first learned I had the honor of addressing our graduating class, I was overwhelmed. I will admit, I was a little bit relieved to learn that I would be recording it and not standing in front of a large audience. As funny as "picture the audience in your underwear" might sound, let's be honest, it isn't always effective. Ironically, during these strange times, and hopefully for only this convocation, I might not be too far off in assuming that some of you are in your pajamas. Yes, this convocation ceremony is different than what we expected. And no, we do not get to take that ceremonial walk across the stage, but that does not diminish the significance of our achievements, nor the importance of today. Our exit from university is unconventional, and we are going to remember this for a very long time. I mean, seriously. The events of this year are certainly going to make it into the textbooks. And I, for one, am glad that I don't need to purchase the newest edition. Truthfully, the fact that we are gathered online rather than in person is evidence of the adaptability which we have all developed. Prior to March 13th, the university campus was our home away from home, with students and professors our extended family. As a student in the Faculty of Kin, I spent most of my time in the Duckworth building, and I have walked through the halls of Duckworth. Anywhere you would look, there would be groups of people practicing taping and palpating, reviewing how to assess injuries, or just hanging out. And these times helped to build relationships and foster friendships which I will always cherish. We gained more than just friendships. We learned to appreciate the strengths of others, to acknowledge and accept our differences, and to work together to get through tough times. In reflecting over the years, I can honestly say that getting here has not always been easy. I remember times when I thought today would never come. The long list of assignments, the overwhelming amounts of required reading, and the endless number of tests seemed daunting. Yet, here we are. We did it. We persevered, we overcame challenges, and we achieved success. A lot has changed during our years at the University of Winnipeg. We not only gained knowledge in our aspiring fields, but we also learned a lot about ourselves. We've all made mistakes, and we have learned from those mistakes. For example, the stress of submitting that assignment at 11:58 p.m. helped us to improve our time management skills. Or, by acknowledging that typing class notes while binge-watching Netflix maybe wasn't our best idea, we were able to fine-tune those decision-making skills and learn when to multitask. Or maybe not. One obstacle, though, we have all faced, students, faculty, and even parents, was the event that occurred on Friday, March 13th. Yes, I was one of the many students on campus that day when they sent us all home. And yes, it seems impossible to get through a conversation today without mentioning COVID. All around us, the world is facing an immeasurable challenge, but with determination and perseverance, together while apart, this challenge can be overcome. So now what? Every time someone asks me that question, I feel a wave of uncertainty. And like many of you, I've been so focused on reaching that finish line that I spent very little time thinking about what may lay ahead. But you know what? That's okay. It's okay because in addition to learning course material, we have also developed life skills. Skills such as resilience, determination, problem solving, and adaptability. As we move on to the next chapter in our lives, we will continue to face challenges. And the truth is, having a degree will not make our lives easier to figure out. But in the process of earning that degree, we have gained wisdom and skills, which will give us the courage and confidence to face new challenges. Next time someone asks us, what's next? We don't need to feel uncertain or afraid. We know that whatever curveball life throws at us, we have the courage, the resilience, and the ability to overcome. We know this because we have made it through so much already. We know this because here we are today celebrating our achievements. To the class of 2020, we've made it this far. So let's show the world what we have to offer. Congratulations to all, and thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer. I want you to know how proud we are to share in your success. It's a privilege to celebrate with you today. You're graduating in unusual times, and while it may look different this year, it's still a time of celebration. It's a time to look back on your accomplishments with pride and to look ahead with anticipation for what's to come. Whether you're launching a career or pursuing further studies, this is an important milestone on your journey, and we celebrate your achievements. We're very proud of the way you've stepped up to the challenges of the past few months, finding creative ways to complete papers, continue research, and stay connected. Now, as the class of 2020, you have new opportunities to make an impact on the community in your own unique way. Maybe you don't always feel equipped for some of the complicated issues we're facing in the world today, but I want to encourage you. You're more prepared than you realize. You've developed foundational, transferable skills to navigate the complexity of these current times, and you have a solid foundation to bring change to your chosen field. As part of this year's Convocation celebrations, we've recognized some exceptional staff, faculty, and alumni award winners. Each of these individuals, Dr. David Fitzpatrick, Dr. Lloyd Cornelson, Deborah Bradley, Jennifer Schreibmeyer, go above and beyond to make a difference in our community. I'd like to extend congratulations to our honorary degree recipient, Dr. Allan Levine. Well known for his work as a historian, writer, and public intellectual, Levine was also an educator for 30 years. His work has opened up to us new perspectives and enriched our understanding of the world, demonstrating the power of education to transform lives. Earlier this year, before the pandemic stopped us from gathering on campus, we hosted an event that brought together post-secondary industry and government leaders. They shared many stories of the vital role universities play in providing graduates with the right skills, knowledge, and abilities to lead and succeed. This graduating class has many examples of that. When Manitoba classrooms were shifting online last spring, our education students were at the forefront, donating their time and expertise to support students in a virtual tutoring classroom. This not only provided vital support to families, it gave our future teachers an opportunity to showcase their talent as educators, able to meet the needs of the community. You've learned to think creatively, solve complex problems, collaborate, and effectively communicate with people from diverse backgrounds. These skills are the building blocks of successful careers. And though your path to your dream job may not be straight, these experiences have set you up for success. Winnipeg has a strong reputation for graduating leaders. We're a close-knit community committed to outstanding academic scholarship, research excellence, and community engagement. We know how important it is to graduate with knowledge that reaches deep and wide. That's why all of our science students take at least one humanities course, our art students take at least one science course, and every programming includes an Indigenous course requirement. The ability to see the world from diverse perspectives will stay with you throughout your career. It's an exciting time, but it can also feel a bit scary if you imagine yourself heading into an unknown future alone. But you're not alone. Your teachers, classmates, parents, family members, and friends have all played an important role in your education. They've supported you, encouraged you, and inspired you to push through the long hours of study. And your Winnipeg community will continue to be there, cheering for you as you go on to achieve great things. On behalf of the University of Winnipeg, congratulations. There are great things ahead for you. Before I wrap up, I'd like to acknowledge that whatever path you choose going forward, you won't be taking it alone. Your parents, guardians, and friends have played an important role in getting you to this point and will continue to support you as you enter the next chapter of your professional or academic career. If they're sitting with you, please take this opportunity to thank them. Today's ceremony has not been a typical one, and while very different from what we envisioned, it still required a lot of planning. I would like to thank the many members of the university community who helped organize this event, including our media and video services team for helping us come into your homes today, our convocation officer, Kylie Stasla-Thierien, and the records team for ensuring you received your parchment and the details for today's event, our registrar, Mr. Colin Russell, and our distinguished chancellor, Ms. Barb Gammy, for their contributions to today's ceremony. We will close with the traditional honors song sung by Alison Cox, followed by the national anthem sung by our registrar, Mr. Colin Russell. Thank you, graduates, for making us so proud, and to all of you for joining us today. We wish you all the best in the next chapter of your life adventure and hope that you keep in touch with the university.
hearts we see thee rise, the true north, strong and free. From far and wide, O Canada, we stand on